Hi, YouTube. I have you at an odd angle right now. I want to read something to you. It's from BR Science, courtesy of them. And it's about pork. And um, I'm going to have salami today, but Doug's got ham in the refrigerator. And I used to eat like bacon or whatever, and I occasionally will, but and just for the record too, even like chickens will eat themselves. Um, Horses have been seen eating meat. A cow would too. If it were like if you threw out like a lasagna and it had meat in it, the cow would eat it. Um, a rabbit definitely would eat meat. So, and I could go on and on that people think that um, just exclusively pigs are like that, but that's not exclusive. So, I'll read the 13 problems with pork. Um, a pig is a real garbage gut. It will eat anything, including urine, excrement, dirt, decaying animal flesh, maggots, or decaying vegetables. They will even eat cankerous growths off other pigs or animals. The meat and fat of a pig absorbs toxins like a sponge. Their meat can be 30 times more toxic than beef or venison. When eating beef or venison, it takes 8 or 9 hours to digest the meat. So, with little toxins are in the meat, are slowly put into our system and can be filtered by our liver. But when pork is eaten, it takes only 4 hours to digest the meat. We thus get a much higher level of toxins within a shorter time. Unlike other mammals, a pig does not sweat or perspire. Perspiration is a means by which toxins are removed from our bodies. Since a pig does not sweat, the toxins remain within the body and the meat. Pigs are swine, and swine are so poisonous that you can hardly kill them with synthetic or other poisons. Farmers will often pen up pigs with rattlesnake nests because the pigs will eat the snakes, and if bitten, they will not be harmed by the venom. When This is number 7, when a pig flies, no, okay, just a second. When a pig is butchered, worms and insects take to its flesh sooner and faster than to other animals' flesh. In a few days, the swine's flesh is full of worms. Swine and pig have over a dozen parasites within them, such as tapeworm, flukes, worms, and trichinae. There is no safe temperature at which pork can be cooked to ensure that all these parasites, their cysts, and eggs will be killed. Number 9. The pig meat has twice as much fat as beef. A 3-ounce T-bone contains 8.5 grams of fat. A 3-ounce pork chop contains 18 grams of fat. A 3-ounce beef rib has 11.1 grams of fat. A 3-ounce pork spare rib has 23.2 grams of fat. 10. Clothes have complex, or cows, excuse me, I was thinking of cloven hoofs. Cows have complex digestive systems, having four stomachs. It thus takes over 24 hours to digest their vegetarian diet, causing its food to be purified of toxins. In contrast, the swine's one stomach only takes about 4 hours to digest its foul diet, turning its toxic food into flesh. The swine carries about 30 diseases which can be easily passed to humans. This is why God commanded that we not even touch their carcass. That's in Leviticus 11:8. The trichinae worm of the swine is microscopically small, and once ingested can lodge itself in our intestines, muscles, spinal cord, or the brain. The result in the disease trichinosis is the disease trichinosis. The symptoms are sometimes lacking. In other words, they don't have a full spectrum of the list. But when present, they are mistaken for other diseases. Please pay close attention because I know people that fall into this category. I love you. Okay. Such as typhoid, which would be like feverish, arthritis, rheumatism, gastritis, MS, meningitis, gallbladder trouble, or acute alcoholism. So that actually is, I think, too. I've seen a lot of people with poor diets and they'll try to self medicate. That's, I think, some of the parasites in there literally demonized. I can't prove that, but that's just my theory. But anyway, so, and then number 13, the pig is so poisonous and filthy that nature had to prepare him a sewer line or canal running down each leg with an outlet in the bottom of the foot. Out of those hole oozes pus and filth his body cannot pass into his system fast enough. Some of the pus gets into the meat, courtesy of BR Science. And I'll add the massive amount of parasites even after cooking is interesting, and the Bible warns us about that. So, I just, and like I said, I occasionally, I used to eat a lot of bacon. I'd eat the whole thing, you know, or we'd buy big packs and of pieces and ends when the kids were little, and I'd throw it into a pot of beans or bake or fry some potatoes or take some of the leaner stuff and chop it up and put it on baked potatoes with sour cream and onion. And so I'm not dissing on people, and I know you know a lot of this, or you can pour cola on pork and watch bugs start because that's starting the decaying process faster, and plus the sugar and the acid in there is starting to metabolically break it down right before your eyes so you can see what I'm talking about just right. And you knew this anyway, I'm sure most of you did, and or most of it or some of it. And goats will pee into their mouth. There's a lot of shenanigans in a farmyard. I've raised pigs. I know exactly what's up. And I never ate any animals I raised, but I had rabbits, chicken, pigs, horses, pheasants, let's see, baby deer, took care of a monkey and a skunk and wolves, and the list is extensive. So cattle. Well, I already said that, but yeah. Um, Yeah. So, plus I've studied the biology of them, and they say that it's one of the closer, well, they call it long pig or human flesh. And so, well, some of you know that too. So, but there's a reason why um, some of us might not be feeling so good. So, just some of my thoughts today. Shooting the breeze with you. Now that I got that over, I'll just sit and talk to you for a little while. Terrible, huh? Yeah, that's, you know, excuse me, I'm just gonna close this up, light a cigarette. And, yeah. And then he had all kinds of cute little piggies on the front of that, too, you know. And really, baby pigs are so sweet. We had one Miss Piggy, she would play frisbee with the kids, and she was Pickle in the middle. And my younger one would fall down and pretend that he was dead, and she'd run up to him just screaming in pain for her kid, you know. I'd be sitting on the porch having a cigarette, you know, light it up, talking to Miss Piggy, and if I went, she'd go, I'm like, no way. And then we'd start kind of talking, and she picked up a lot of. And then I had another one that I adopted that they thought was going to be a small Vietnamese potbelly, 200 and like 70 pounds worth of tiny. When I got her, she was about 140, and the people couldn't keep her. They were moving, and it had been an indoor pig. But um, we had this huge, huge dog. It was part, let me see now, Great Dane and Newfoundland mix. Very, very big dog. And him and that pig became best friends. And Buddy, our dog, used to be in the house, but he had a 30 by 30-foot kennel with cattle panels because he was partially blind when we adopted him. He had his problems, but I adopted this pig too. And after that, Buddy just wanted to stay out in the kennel with her, and we built this great big house for them. We used tires, and I put like an old bed in there, and that pig and Buddy used to go in and cuddle. And oh, and Doug put an old hood over from an old truck over the whole thing, and then we enclosed it with plastic. And there was a couple of trees out there, and we kind of just built them a Buddy piggy fort in there, and they were happy. They had happy lives. Like I said, Buddy was an indoor dog when we got him because they did not have a doghouse big enough for him. We got him the largest one we could find, and then we still had to put that inside another building that we built just for him. So, yeah, but he liked being indoors too. But he was afraid of my cat, and I had my cat first before Doug wanted this dog. So, yeah, and he was scared to death of like 3 pounds. You know, it's like 100 pound dog. You know, big. His head was huge. He pulled me across the yard one time. He had a. I was taking him out for a walk. He almost got me on a deer. Jumped out in front of us one time out on the road, and he almost got me off my feet, but he didn't. So I stopped walking Doug's dog, and then I got my little one and had her for a long time. It's like, yeah, because I had went to get a little dog. I've had a lot of big ones, but um, yeah, it wasn't that he didn't behave because he'd do everything I asked him to do. I taught him how to take down my son and just basically keep him pinned by tickling him, not breaking any of the skin. You know, I'd go get his leg, get his butt, back, whatever, and Buddy was like all over him. So like a 200 pound, 6'2" guy took him down and kept him down. Good dog. It all started with keep him out of my kitchen, and it was like as a joke. And then Buddy would go under my kitchen table, like out into the dining room, and go after Luke every time he tried to go past there because I was training him, So, yeah, it was funny. If my daughter-in-law is listening, isn't that funny? Didn't you wish you had a buddy? You could have trained him. Oh no, you got one named Chaos around your house. That little white thing looks like he could be a little terrorist. So yeah. It's a pretty nice day. I guess we've got some warm, very warm. It's kind of cooler today because of the cloud cover, but we've got some warm. It gets tropical in the summer here. I like it. I like summer. Not so much like if you get over by the woods of our property and the water and stuff with the mosquitoes, like early morning, late at night. But in the yard, things aren't too bad. So I was heard people talking about the bats that they have in their yard and garden. Yeah, we have them around here too, and I had like two in my house since I've been here. They can get in your house, um, like a rodent can. They can, um, the fur doesn't mean anything, but their skeleton can get even squished. They squish their bones, can dislocate. They can get in something the size of their nose, almost literally. So that's the same with a human being. Some can get in areas the size of their head, depending on your physical abilities. So, true story. Um, but anyway, yeah, I have bats in here too, and I'm freaking. I'm like under my kitchen table, and my hand had dug the broom. I'm like, but don't squish them. And he got them. And then I brought a glove and handed it to Doug, and he had them nailed up against the wall with the broom and grabbed him with the glove, and we got him out. It was a real pretty red colored one, kind of cinnamon colored. And yeah, and there was another one, I think I opened up the door and let it out. Um, we did have a piece of side of the house come off, and old age, and I had one of my little red squirrels in here. It came in, it jumped across my curtain rod onto, I have an armoire or, a wardrobe, onto the wardrobe, onto a shelf, and back out in the kitchen. I opened the door and asked it to leave. At first, when I seen it up there, I go, you get down, you can't be in here. So it jumped to the wardrobe, onto the shelf, and then into the kitchen. And I'm like, open the door. It's laughing. So, yeah. Just one of my little buddies. I probably happy because I feed him corn. I haven't this last month because it was recommended because of the swine flu. So they say that we not put anything in our bird feeders and that. So, and squirrels get in everything. And I like feeding them. I like everybody to eat. And usually they don't fight. Something happened on my bird feeder one time. Um, there was some blood on top of it. And I don't know if it was one of my squirrels getting, like a little one get gray one beating up a red one, or who knows. I didn't see it. So I mean, we have bald eagles and um owls, and which would be like either the North American owl or the barn owls, and we have red-tailed hawks and all kinds of birds of prey. So God knows. Who knows? They even will pick up puppies and kitties and anything they can, you know, fish. So, yeah. It is spooky. I was in my pool one time. I got one of them big round blow up ones, and I'm floating out there, and I seen a bird of prey up above me, and it looked like it was scouting me out. I'm thinking, no, that's a really gross thought. And it had been kind of a drought summer, and I was thinking it actually was hungry. I could sense its mind. It's like, oh, that kind of creeped me out. you know. I like I always thought it'd be so cool to have a falcon, not just for hunting, but then I really don't like things in cages. That's why I've never actually only injured birds that I've raised and stuff and chickens for their eggs, but I'm just not into putting things in cages too much. Even my horse, when I first moved out here before some of the neighbors moved in, I didn't have to put my gate up. I could let my horse out to mow my lawn, and she wouldn't even go down by the road or anything. She didn't go anywhere, even where it wasn't fenced off, as long as she could see me, you know. And that's true too. One time I was talking to Doug and I watched her walk and she was getting jealous. She's going down towards the end of the property. And I told her, you stop right there. And she turned and she looked at me and she smiled. I said, oh, no, I'll put you in your pasture. And she turned around and started walking back. I said, don't you do that again. And she didn't. But then I was really careful not to talk to Doug if my gate was down because she would get jealous. But otherwise, if I was out there or even in the house and she'd walk around eating and she could hear me, I could hear her, and then we started putting up a lot of fencing. But she had enough acreage, even by her own. A horse only needs a quarter acre, and we had her in about a quarter, or I mean an acre and a quarter, and I had planted rye in there for her. There was a little bit of clover. There's Timothy, so like perfect horsey mixture in her pasture. So, and she was one of the most spoiled too with treats. Yeah. She liked one of her favorite things was a loaf of French bread from Walmart. And if you got like the day old or 50 cents, whatever, and I'd go to either chunk it up for her when she got older, but when she was young, even Doug would come home and he'd bring her, like, buy two for her, bring her one and just hold it out like a popsicle, and she'd take a bite and crunch it up. It's funny. It's like that pig Oreo, that potbelly. She liked popcorn. Just crazy. Her and the little girl she had in her life, she had M&Ms and popcorn. So that was two of her treats she liked. I used to like M&Ms, but they got really gross, and even the Mars factory had a post like, what flavor would you like to see? And I wrote, how about some natural coloring still with the chocolate, or like natural flavored ones. you know they could make them coloring without the red dye in there and the yellow, even the blue. It's all bad for us. It's like, so if they started making all that with natural stuff, I'd be all in. So, yeah. But even like if they could use like real raspberries, that would be really, raspberry and chocolate is really good. And they could use real ones. Make raspberry in the middle and the chocolate on the outside. And then it would be real stuff in there. And they'd actually be kind of healthy. So, anyway, yeah, that's, they would be good. I haven't had any sugar aside from some juice for a couple days, but it's been, I think, all week. Yeah, and I did 3 months of exercises, but and was gonna basically take a break. I had like 24 hours in between, but um, I still did some push-ups and things today because I don't know, just felt like it. I didn't worry about doing the 100, but I think I did like 30. You know. Oh, and some leg exercises and yeah. Few things. Got a few things done. Um, Watched Brucey's all live stream. That's always interesting. Um, Montreal, Canada, astrology. I have recommended Archaics, Jason at Archaics. His greatest talent for what's going on in the world today, that it isn't so much of any of the books of the Bible or what's been changed on that. In that respect, it's the languages, the people, the the chronology of where everybody went and the timeline that we're living in. But basically, if you could find out, even like when you read something and you get kind of a funny feeling, but it can save you off a lot of grief, and then you could go back and read what was added or taken away and go, holy shit, these sneaky bastards, God dang. If you just would start with that Moses one and do three videos by the end of that, the understanding aside from reading the Bible on your own with your heart and the Word of God is written on our hearts, but the chronology of where people went and what they did and history of why we are in the predicament we're in today and what we're going to do about it. If I get cut off, I love you all. I didn't have time to clean my phone this morning when I was capturing them little woodchucks or groundhogs, whichever part of the country you live in. We call them different. I think they're the same animal, I do believe. But okay, I'm gonna get back to what I was saying about the chronological order that the books are put into, and the scholars around the world that agree on certain things that are super, super important in our understanding and learning with the languages and the sneaky stuff they pulled. I would not recommend somebody if I didn't think it was important for the times we're living in and the crap they're pulling on us right now, even using our scriptures in that respect against us. Not that you don't know something or I know something you don't, because I think deep in our hearts we all know something's up. You know, I had more to that point what I was trying to say too, and I swear there's forces that try to keep me from doing videos and like, just it's just so bullshitty sometimes, if you know what I mean. Like people start making a video and bells go off and dogs bark and it's like, wow, this really? especially when you live in the country and then things start getting crazy or something. It's like, well, yeah, it can be exciting out here too, but yeah, I don't. I had somebody write me about anti-Semitism and having um, Jewish relations and whatnot. For me personally, it's like don't even go there. That's just that any not just Hebrew speaking or Assyrian speaking Jewish person, or be them German or whoever. There's Jewish people all over the world in every single country. So I'm talking in particular about the Khazarian Jews, the Parisians, the people that mixed with the Danes and the Germans and the Bohemians and different things, the people that are doing bad things to other people in the world does not make me anti Semitic. Get to know your history, and that's why I'm recommending Jason from Archaics. Go check out his. I'm not word for word agreeing with anybody. I'm just trying to share pertinent information for the times we're in and the people we're dealing with and how they're using everything against us. And this is not the time to sit on our hands or argue. And if you're going to come onto somebody's channel and try and school them about any kind of heritage or religion, you should know what you're talking about first. That's, I'll drop it there. And I do love everybody. Take my harsh words and let it go to your ego or to your heart. That's on you. So that's all I got to say. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Don't go away. I got more. But just if you would, it's important. I shared them yesterday, the links there. If you watch even that one folder of videos, but the first three, if you listen to the first three, it has nothing to do with whether you've read something or not. Take or leave whatever you hear. He's not trying to influence you on any kind of what happened, when, or where, or because of why, or any kind of feeling we're getting. It has to do with the timeline that God gave the Nephilim and how they tried to change it, and proof of those situations and where they went and where all us went, and gathering and connecting that. That's what it's all about. I hope I made that clear. Um, so don't be afraid when I recommend somebody that I'm ever trying to take you away from God or the Word of God, or reading or learning something on your own. I am showing you something that is entirely not even a part of that subject, aside from our history as people in this world and the world leaders and where they came from and what they're doing. If you're opposed to the truth and the facts of how to try and help the next generation, this is not the channel for you. So, thank you so much for being here. If you're new to me, I hope I hang in there, and God bless your night or day wherever you're at. I love you all. Thank you. Peace.